So ever since Need for Speed got punched in the junk and told to sit in the corner like a good boy by EA, I've been playing Forza Horizon 5 a little bit more. And I gotta tell you all that the systems they have in place for things like player retention are unmatched. When I tell you guys I was hooked, I'm talking like there was a juicy worm on the end, pause, and I was a catfish. I was going through all the seasons that they have done in the game's life cycle, and it's crazy the amount of content they were able to provide for so long. I'm talking missions, new cars, new exclusive items like the Backstage Pass, a bunch of stuff. That is what I am talking about when I say evergreen content. I'm not talking about the tree. I'm talking about something the game implements that will keep people coming back again and again. And of course, seeing how a racing game can create something like that, I started brainstorming about a what if scenario. But instead of destroying the idea like Marvel, I want to include you guys in it and see how you guys think this would work. Boom, boom. I would call this the hot list, but just calling it a seasonal event is fine too. Imagine if the next Need for Speed game included a seasonal event system where it would update every single week. Now I know that the dev team is small and they are working 24 hours a day and they haven't seen their families in 10 years and they work in a sweatshop and all those sob stories. So instead of weekly, what if the new game had a bi-weekly seasonal event? Every bi-weekly. I really think that this sort of idea isn't just for racing games that have festivals. Sure, that may help, but based off of the feedback that we got given from Criterion, I think it is safe to say that a lot of the modes we got in volumes from Unbound will be making a return in the next game, if they are not already in the game on day one. Imagine if we have a seasonal event, and for week 1 you get a brand new car with new customization options and all that jazz, and all you have to do to unlock it is play the game. Now we're just brainstorming here, but maybe it will take you, let's say, 20 total points to unlock everything, and in order to get them, you have to participate in missions like get top 3 in the drift or drag playlist once, or get top 3 with whatever brand of car the prize car is. Simple things like that. I really want us to get away from the snooze fest missions that we have in Unbound to unlock cars. They weren't fun, and half the time people would rather just not have the car than have to do the missions. You want people to play your game and grind, not ignore the stuff you have put in the game for them to do. The first 10 points would give you the first reward, or the tier 1 reward. It won't be as flashy as the next reward, but it's still good. Then the next reward level would be tier 2, and that is where the big stuff like the new cars would be. The tier 1 reward could be rims, could be car smoke, things that can be applied to every single car in the game. And tier 2 rewards will be like the new car, new body kits, things of that nature. And it doesn't even have to be just those types of rewards all the time either. It would be foolish to think that every single week we would get a brand new car. So for every other week or 2 weeks, the tier 1 rewards could be double money or XP tokens, and the tier 2 rewards could be custom body kits for brands of cars. There are so many possibilities that they could do with this, and there is no way that the community would not be interested in entertaining this idea. It's better than paying for a premium speed pass, and it's better than having all the additional cars added post-launch locked behind paywalls. There was a bunch of custom body kits and car variants locked behind paywalls in Unbound, and this would be the best way to get around that, besides making everything a huge grind, of course. The BMW M3 GTR is a fan favorite. What if, instead of it being locked behind EA Play for almost 2 years, it was a reward you could get unlocked by getting unlock tokens from the seasonal each week? You get 5 and you could pick any legacy car, not just a GTR. Maybe Razor's Mustang, maybe the Polestar from Heat. Any car that was seen in other games from the franchise you could get. But if you only have 1 of the tokens, then you can still pick a car that you missed from a previous season. More on that later. Now, of course, the main thing with Forza is that everything comes extremely easy, and that includes rewards and a bunch of money. So obviously, if this were to be put in Need for Speed, it would have to be toned down a bit. We still want the grind. We still want the start it from the bottom feel of what a Need for Speed game is known for. You can still obtain great rewards, but there will be a grind for them in each event, and there should be 100% a period where time is being decently spent for something. For example, even though Forza is pretty easy, I still spend around an hour and a half completing the entire seasonal for the car. Not super long, but it's enough where you do feel a bit of a grind. But the main thing is that I can see this being a better option for what we currently have, and that is the waiting period between each volume drop. It was around 4 months every time an update for Unbound was dropped, and don't get it twisted, I am still to this day super grateful for what Kaizen did. But I do think that if all the updates were combined and were dropped a little at a time over the course of the game's life cycle, it may have went a little bit more smoothly. Everyone, casuals and sweats alike, felt each time there was no content in the game, and every time the dry spell would show itself. It may seem like a short wait for the amount of content we would get in an upcoming update, but if we had things to do in between those waiting periods, people may have stuck around for longer. Why have a roller coaster of player count each time an update drops for the game when you can have a steady average of just higher players just dropping smaller updates? In week 1, we could have a brand new mission requiring players to take part in a new event that could be similar to Link Up. You could do that and a few other things, and then you're good. You have the new content such as the new car and the new rewards, and you are also playing through the new events that have dropped with the season. But with all good things, let's get into the not so decent part. The portion that may not be so appealing to players is that this seasonal system runs in a way where if you do not get the car in that week, or however long it could be, that's it for a while. FOMO. Fear of missing out. You miss out on whatever the rewards are. Now, Forza does include the backstage pass where you can collect cars from previous seasons, but if this were to come to Need for Speed, I don't think they would add it from day one. So we are going to ignore that for now, but we will get back to that after this. Just know that there is a solution for those who miss out. However, as I was saying, if you missed a season, that's it. I know a lot of players do not like the feeling of missing out on things, and this was apparent when the R8 was locked behind a paywall for those who didn't get it in the initial speed pass. The difference, however, is that with this formula, there should not be any reason why any car should require real money. We all know how EA is, but in a perfect world, the seasonal car or reward that you miss will eventually cycle back through, and it may even come with different rewards and missions you have to do to unlock them. For all the players who unfortunately missed out on the rewards, I think that in the middle of the first year of the game's life cycle, there should be a portion of the store where you can buy cars that you can use tokens to pick up any car that you missed. These tokens could be rewards for doing the seasonal events, or if we're feeling lucky, they could even be rewards in limited events where for a few weeks you do X amount of races, you can get X amount of tokens, and they can be used just the same. The bottom line is that there should be a pity system in place because everyone is not going to be able to do every single seasonal all the time. And the way that Unbound was going with bugs and people not being able to log into the game for weeks, it would truly suck for them to miss out on something forever. However, this pity system is not going to be so great that people can just ignore the seasonal just to collect the rewards later. The whole point is to keep players engaged for a longer period of time than what was previously implemented. We have briefly talked about the rewards that would be in the system, but I want to cover what they all could be. For tier 1 rewards, which remember are the lower tier before tier 2, they could include custom rims, custom tire smoke, custom trails, customization options like exclusive wraps and paint, anything for the car that is not a body kit or a major body part. Think about all the smaller rewards that were found in the Speed Pass and Unbound, and you'll get any idea of the rewards that could be in the tier 1 section. Personally, I think something like a custom body kit for cars is a bigger reward and could be a tier 2, but let me know what you guys think about that one. It doesn't just have to be customization options either. The tier 1 could include multiple tokens for double money for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, and this can be said about XP tokens as well. Now for the big guns, tier 2 would be the actual car itself with no strings attached. You get the car and there's nothing else you must do. You don't have to buy the car, it will just show up in your garage. You got body kits that you could collect and use, car unlock tokens, you got new character models you can use. I would even say that super exclusive wraps could be a part of tier 2. Of course, they would feature decals that cannot normally be put on the car in a game, that way wrap creators cannot make the wraps themselves. The one thing that will never be in the seasonal events regarding rewards are any car parts that can affect performance, just because that truly would not be fair if someone missed out on a key component that can make every car in the game faster by a few seconds. I would love to know what everyone thinks of this idea, so please let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I tried my best to explain it all, but when these ideas show up in my head and are all over the place, so hopefully you guys kind of get where I'm going with this. I want the player base to be active and able to do something majority of the time instead of just doing one thing and then waiting for 4 months for something else. If you enjoyed today's video, Make sure to go ahead and drop a like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one.